back. This year's edition of the Joy Prime Made in Ghana Fair opened this morning at the Junction Shopping Mall at Nungwa here in Accra. Several exhibitors are offering a wide range of locally made products at highly affordable prices. The fair forms part of Multimedia's resolve to promote made in Ghana goods and boost the local manufacturing sector. Charles Aite has come through with this report.
We have been engaging with several of the patrons here and, of course, exhibitors, tens of them, who have been sharing the experiences of engaging in businesses in the Made in Ghana terrain. As you can see, lovely beads here at one of the exhibitors' ends, but they have very stark challenges, issues related to marketing, issues related to funding, issues related to the need for government, not, selling their goods beyond the shores of the country. We shall be engaging some of such exhibitors who say that it's high time government really intensifies its own resolve in boosting the Made in Ghana, bid here in the country. The Made in Ghana Fair comes with one major challenge: promoting the appetite for locally produced goods in the country. Various exhibitors brought in several products to show as participants trooped in their numbers to pick up for themselves everything made in Ghana. Some exhibitors who spoke to Joy Business expressed how satisfied they are about this year's event. They are urging governments to do more in promoting the interest of Made in Ghana products.
It has really helped me because it has made people know my products more and they are interested in it, and some are urging everything after this program. Yeah. What I actually want government to do for traders who deal in Made in Ghana goods is to publicize whatsoever they are doing for us, because I've heard that government is funding people who are doing their own business. So government should create more publicity about it so people can send their proposals and CVs so the government can look through it and then help such people who are coming up with their own products.
The Made in Ghana Fair is here with us. What particular good has it done for you as someone who sells Made in Ghana products?
It serves as a platform, a major platform for advertisement. The good thing about it is it's on radio, it's on air. So even people who are not aware of it, they come through. Sometimes the customers come and they say, oh, we're not aware of it, but we heard on it on radio, or we saw the advert on Facebook or on Instagram, so we came by. It's a major platform, and it's promoting Made in Ghana goods. So it's taking our heritage outside as well. Yeah.
Okay, but, speaking of Made in Ghana goods, I believe there may be some stark challenges that sellers like yourselves or people who deal in such products are being faced with. Help us understand some of them.
People have the perception that Made in Ghana goods are cheap and they are not durable. But the major challenge is, if the way to boost ourselves up is to make sure that the things we sell are quality and to maintain our culture. So if I'm speaking to other vendors out there, in Ghana, our problem is when we start something good, then we don't maintain it. So we have to keep up a maintenance culture.
We have the corn drink, locally called asana or ekudemi. It is very good for the digestive system. And after a hot walk on the sun, a very long walk on the sun, even when you go to the market, you just take a little sip of asana and then you cool down your body. It's very good. Thank you.
Now help us understand how business has been like selling asana in Ghana, because this is going to be competing with so many of the beverages that we have on the market, both local and foreign.
Well, I can say the others nowadays have been preserved with some other preservatives, which is not so good for the body system. But this one is very locally made out of corn without preservative. It is very good for the body.
They should encourage more Ghanaian products. I mean, in terms of furniture, in terms of wall hangings, in terms of dressing and everything, the government should encourage so that when you enter into a Ghanaian or Ghanaian institution, from furniture to clothing to wall hanging, everything must be Ghanaian.
Beyond this, what do you wish government does for you so that you'll be able to compete on the international level? Because Kente is not just done in Ghana, it's done across the world. People are buying it across the world. People are engaging in this business across the world. So what do you wish government does to help you guys being able to meet the targets on the international market?
Yeah, when it comes to the international markets, quality and finishing, yeah, is very important. So I think, as I said earlier on, if maybe we should introduce new technology, yeah, in how to make the kente, and with how the government have to help us, maybe with the one factory, one district, one factory, yeah. So we can set up a factory maybe at Bonre or any of the towns that with the kente, yeah. Then we'll give the guys maybe education.
Other patrons also expressed how relevant the fair has been so far.
I think it's a wonderful day, actually, and I do appreciate everything around it. I love the environment, and actually, you can see me, I'm a Rasta man, and Africa made, specifically Ghana. So anything made in Ghana, I'm in for. So I come, you can see I'm start purchasing my stuff. I'm just happy for the day.
People say that made in Ghana stuffs are very expensive and that even the quality is an issue. What do you have to say about that?
I think the people within the country itself don't know the use of made in Ghana, but people outside really cherish it and they respect it a lot. And you have any made in Ghana product outside, they do respect it. So when you come Ghana, we understand and we like it, and trust me, I think it's the best.
Made in Ghana goods and goods made outside Ghana, which ones do you like best?
Oh, as for me, I like made in Ghana goods because I'm more in Ghana. And made in Ghana goods, they are quality. And if you buy it, it lasts. So as for me, I prefer made in Ghana goods.
There are also concerns about the fact that made in Ghana goods are very expensive. Do you agree?
Oh no, as for me, I don't agree. Because, see, we Ghanaians, we prefer foreigner goods, which is not good. It sometimes leads us to sickness. But if you buy made in Ghana goods, it's good.
When you walked in here, what were your first impressions?
Well, I think it has exposed me to a lot of products hitherto I didn't know existed on the market. In fact, I came here to look for somebody, but upon entering, I've seen that we really have a lot of things that are not displayed on the ordinary market. So I think you should be running more of this first so that it will expose us to things we didn't know about. I think we have very beautiful things here compared to things that are brought from outside. I think things here are also certified before they are brought on the market because it's run by you. I know Joy FM, you wouldn't run any program that products are substandard. So I know that goods here are very up to standard. So I think you should be doing more of this promotions or programs so that most of us will patronize made in Ghana goods.
All right, but speaking of patronizing made in Ghana goods, are there specific concerns about made in Ghana goods that you wish sellers and who engage in the making of such things?
Yeah, like the fabrics, the jewelry, you can see the beads here, very, very beautiful. And then we have soap that we know that at least the products are not very harsh, or the chemicals in it are not very harsh, they are good for our body. You can see slippers, very beautiful and colorful. So I think we should patronize them.
The Made in Ghana Fair is expected to end on Sunday, the 24th of September.
All right, so you can visit the fair to get a wind of the ingenuity of the Ghanaian manufacturer. Away from that, former UK Labour Cabinet Minister Alan Milburn says the UK coming out of the Brexit could have dire consequences on various industries. Speaking in an exclusive interview with Joy Business, the former Cabinet Minister said industries such as manufacturing, which required manufacturers to source materials from outside the UK, could be hugely affected by the loss of free trade and other benefits that come with being part of the European Union.
Britain voted a British exit or Brexit from the European Union in a historic referendum in June this year. The outcome prompted jubilant celebrations around the continent and sent shockwaves through the global economy. After the declaration of the referendum result, the pound fell to its lowest level since 1985, leading to the resignation of then Prime Minister David Cameron. The result of the referendum, however, has left the question, what will happen to the British economy without the power of Europe's single market and flexible trade deals behind it? Speaking exclusively to Joy Business, former UK Labour Cabinet Minister Alan Milburn admitted the vote could result in serious consequences on various industries in the UK.
Things are moving very, very fast, and you really can't tell. But I think many people in the UK are very, very concerned about what the economic impact could look like on all sorts of industries, because nowadays, take manufacturing, for example. If there's a car plant in the UK, the truth is it will source all of its parts, not from the UK, but from many parts of Europe or even beyond. So there needs to be a free flow of goods and services to ensure that the British economy can do what it's been doing, which is successfully growing. And people feel that that could be in jeopardy. And the loss, particularly, of Britain's place in the European single market could have very, very serious consequences, not just for manufacturing industries, but for service industries. And people are really worried about that, and they're really worried that this is proving to be much more complex than people had imagined, simply by putting an X in a box in a referendum in June last year. And it's going to be very lengthy. So the answer to the question is that no one really knows. But what is certain is that uncertainty is very, very bad for business and is very, very bad for the British economy.
He was hopeful the cordial historical ties between the UK and Ghana will not be impacted by new negotiations.
The opportunity to spread prosperity not just to a few people but to the mass of the population through measures like education, through measures like industrial revitalization. These are really important things that can make a real difference, particularly for the young people of the country. This is a very young country, a rapidly urbanizing, very young country. And Britain's trading relationship is really very important with here. So I would like to think that regardless of what happens between the UK and the European Union, that those historical allegiances and ties are much stronger than any outcome of a negotiation between Britain and the European Union could affect. But of course, it does create uncertainty, and the very fact that you're asking me the question tells you what the real problem with the situation is right now.
Negotiations for Britain's final exit from the European Union will end in March 2019.
The Energy Ministry says it has instituted the necessary measures to avoid any disruptions in power supply during the planned Jubilee shutdown. Managers of the country's biggest oil field are set to shut down operations in that area for about 12 weeks. However, there are fears the country could also get back into a serious power crisis because of this development. But Energy Minister William Oreku Edu says there's no cause for alarm. He explains to Joy Business what has been done in the area to improve power generation.
Currently, we do have enough generation. Our problem hitherto was generation and money to acquire the fuel that was required to power the generators. Through prudent management, some aspect of good luck, and the vision of the President, and indeed the Honorable Minister Boakye Jako, we now have, we sleep better, put it that way, that the generation is not too much of a problem. And indeed, we have too much generation, and we are trying to rationalize some of the agreements by cancelling some outright and rescheduling some backwards. Otherwise, we will end up with too much power stations that is sitting idle, but we will be paying capacity charge for receiving of power.
President of the Institute of Directors, Ghana, Fred Ofosu-Darko, has advised local business owners not to shun succession planning if they want to prolong the lifespan of their businesses. Many Ghanaian businesses are unable to survive for long, especially with the demise of their founders. This has been attributed to the failure to plan seriously for their own succession. Speaking to Joy Business, Fred Ofosu-Darko said founders must desist from holding onto power for a long time.
You just have to make sure that you train someone who will take over from you whenever you are no more. And human beings as we are, or professionals as we are not made to live forever. Even if we are still alive and healthy, we have an age to go on pension. Says after 60 years, you need to walk away. And if you walk away, will the company continue to do well or will it collapse? That should be your preoccupation or your concern. So based on that, every company always have what we call 2 ICs in command, who would always be there for the company to keep running whilst the one in office or in position is not there. Now, the idea is that should that person become incapacitated or should that person die, should that person go on pension, that will not bring the company to a standstill, but the company will continue to thrive and survive. That is the basic or the essence of succession planning.
He also pointed out the importance of grooming potential successors for local businesses to meet the expectations of stakeholders in the business.
It's all about power, holding on to power. And what I want to say, sometimes people really don't want to relegate their powers to others. And they sometimes also think that beyond them, nobody can do what they do. And therefore, some even will take all their checks away and make sure they protect. So one, they become overprotective of their positions. They wouldn't want to relegate their power to other people. And the way we hold on to power, that is why in our tradition, most people will not even nurture anybody to come near to know the secrets of his survival or the secret of the company. But every company has its strategic secrets and things that makes every individual how it works out. And if you want this to continue, you need to transfer this knowledge to the next person who can also continue to meet the expectations of your stakeholders or those you are doing business with. But if you keep it to yourself, though a new person may take over, but may miss out on the very fine things that you used to do that makes the company prosper.
As the president of the Institute of Directors, Ghana. Away from that, the Chancellor of Lancaster University, Right Honourable Alan Milburn, says it is imperative for Ghanaians to acquire specific skills for the growth of the economy. Speaking in an interview with Joy Business, the Chancellor said his institution is ready to aid in charting the course to educate students in the fields of biology, engineering and other essential sectors.
The importance of higher education in any developing nation cannot be overemphasized. With the current government's efforts at ensuring free senior high school education, as well the desire to make the private sector the pivot of development, questions are still being posed whether there are enough skilled workers to take roles in industries. In an interview with Right Honourable Alan Milburn, he explained how important quality tertiary education will be to Ghanaian students and the economy.
Well, what we can provide is just that. We can provide practical education. So at the moment, we've got a combination of Ghanaian lecturers and people who come in from the UK or from other countries around the world to teach here. So they're bringing real expertise, real knowledge, practical education into the heart of the city, into this wonderful, wonderful country, and we want to extend that. And it is very interesting when I read, in particular, the new government's agenda for the future economic development of the country. It is really all about growing from commodities, where Ghana is traditionally strong, in agriculture, must not be cocoa and other products, and try to develop a service economy and a manufacturing economy. To do that, they're going to have to be skills in not just agriculture, not just biology, but engineering and business and marketing and those type of skills. So we very much see ourselves as a university as being aligned with the future of the Ghanaian economy. And if we can make a small but significant contribution, then we're absolutely delighted to do so.
Lancaster University, Ghana will have its first of graduates this Thursday in Accra. In all, 9 students will obtain their degrees from Lancaster University campus in Ghana.
It's still live on Business Live. Let's take a breather here. When we come back, it will be time for the interview of the day.
Interview of the day.
President of the Institute of Directors, Fredo Fusudakon, says the importance of good corporate governance structures to all institutions cannot be underestimated. The issue of corporate governance has come to the fore in recent weeks following the collapse of some banks in the country. Earlier this month, Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, blamed the lack of good corporate governance for the collapse of UT and Capital banks. Fredo Fusudaku was speaking in an interview with Joy Business at the sidelines of a breakfast meeting held by the Canada-Ghana Chamber of Commerce.
Every company always have what we call 2 IC, second in command, who will always be there for the company to keep running whilst the one in office or in position is not there. And I think it's important because I said without it, the company may face a whole lot of challenge. I even mentioned that to attract foreign capital and even some human capital, you know, companies will look out for such structures before they even release their money into your organization. So obviously, with good corporate governance structures and policies in place, it's a benefit for your organization to attract certain human capital. Whenever there are good structures or systems in place, its implementation still depends on the board. Whenever something goes wrong, it is still the board who is which is held accountable for what goes wrong.
Interview of the day.
And that's it for this holiday edition of Business Live. Thank you so much for your company. Do make a date again tomorrow for more interesting developments in the world of business. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji Piafi. Have a good evening.